Homecoming 2 is coming right around the corner, December 10th. There have been 3 battles announced. Let's dive into it. So as you know, Homecoming 2, which is hopefully going to be a staple, like a yearly staple that URL has, because let's be honest, man, it's been so long since they've been in New York, and off of Homecoming 1, I mean, I miss the vibes, man. I miss how New York crowds are. There's no better crowd than the New York crowd. I know there are close seconds in Houston and Virginia and other places, but let's be real. Battle rap was built, especially URL, was built off of the New York crowd. It is impossible to not call New York the best battle rap crowd because there are so many events that took place there, right? Houston is the closest second possible because it's such a good place. It has such good energy and good vibes, but they've only been there like 3 times, man. So with that being said, December 10th, like I said, just a few weeks away, we got Homecoming 2. This is a card that Tay-Rock is not on, but like I said before, I'm actually happy that he's not on the card. I feel like at this point, Tay-Rock is probably looking at it the same way I'm looking at it. Maybe this isn't the reason why he's not on the card, but he is quite literally running out of matchups. And there's only so many newcomers that you can give a shot to. And there's only so long you can wait for stars, because let's be real about that. When it comes to stars in battle rap, man, I would say in the 8 years that I was in URL, I saw maybe 3. Geechee Gotti, New Jersey Twerk, and Easy to Block Captain. Stars do not come every year. They're not always born in battle rap. It's very rare that you get it. So he could only wait so long. I'm glad he's off a card. So even though you look at it and you always want to see Rock on the big cards, take a break, bucko. So we got 3 that we know of, and I want to get into them shortly, as well as I possibly could get into it, and talk about some stories that I like. I mean, the first thing we'll talk about is Rex and Chess. T-Rex and Chess is New York versus New York. I think the story of this is very dope. It's kind of like a passing of the baton, as if you'd call it that. I think this does a lot for Chess. I mean, just being from New York and battling someone like Rex, beating someone like Rex of his legendary status that he has. I think it's obviously important for anybody. I feel like it'd be a milestone for anybody. But I think it means probably more to Chess than it would to anybody that's not from the boroughs, right? Rex, it's tough, man, because Rex has a lot of on and off. Rex reminds me of the guy that kind of just, they were there back then, and like they're kind of present now, and every now and then you get a flash of greatness or a flash of what it used to be. And then on the other end, you have Chess, who's an extremely talented dude. And then he has flashes of poopy scoops because he chickadee chokes. I hate that about him because he's such a talented dude. And it's kind of like a situation where when you think he stopped gulping, he this is a weird one, right? I think Chess could absolutely snap. He could beat Rex. I think Rex could get back into his own vintage style Rex and make it a classic. We're in New York, right? So I think he could have that crowd, and maybe the crowd gravitates towards him, because obviously I feel like as much as I miss New York crowds, I'm sure the New York crowds miss being New York crowds as well, right? So I think you're going to get some energy off of that, depending on when the battle starts. On the night, it depends on the energy, but I think this will be a good one. If they both go in, man, it could be a great battle. I'm going to go Chess 2-1 just because I think nowadays Chess is just the better artist, and I like to assume that everybody's going to come 100% prepared. I don't like to judge battles based off of mishaps and habits that certain artists may have. I like to think that you're going to go all in. And I like to think that you're going to remember your material. If that is the case, then I got Chess 2-1. Twerk versus Murda Mook. This is a legacy battle for Twerk. This is an extremely important battle for Twerk. You just don't get these battles. And I think the only person to get these battles is Geechee Gotti, right? The highest pinnacle you could reach as a normal battler, even as a top tier guy, is Tay-Rock, right? Tay-Rock's that #1 guy. You don't even, someone like me, you don't even think about battling Lux. You don't think about battling Mook, because not only are those guys tough to get, but they're so exclusive, right? They never battle, and when they do, they pick their battles wisely, and they tend to battle people that came up around their era, right? Geechee was the first person to do this, where he battled Mook and Lux, kind of just breaking the ceiling of what your capabilities are as a battler, as a new age battler, new era battler, whatever you want to call it. And this is Twerk's shot. This is a shot that, you just don't get. And now that he has it, I think he's going to take full advantage of it. Murder Mook and what he did with Geechee, and we'll talk about it when we get to the Geechee and Sirius battle. But, what he did, that is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. While he rocked the crowd, and yes, there were moments where the crowd was doing a little bit too much, and they didn't necessarily need to hype certain bars, and then Mook was actually doing his thing. It's just not sustainable, right? Big stage is also a big stage. Very unpredictable. Chapstick break. And I don't know. I feel like Mook is gonna have to take a Lux Cal approach when it comes to Twerk. If you're trying to go tit for tat as far as who could land the bigger bombs, that's just not something you want to do with Twerk. I think Mook's best bet is to go against the grain and not try to out haymaker New Jersey Twerk. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think he has to be very, meticulous about, the material that he decides to use. I think he's going to have to rely heavily on angles, man. But I think this is Twerk's night. I think it's going to be Twerk's night. Twerk is, and I also, man, I think this battle might solidify his champion of the year run. Twerk has been on a wild run of battles that do not consist of him forgetting his material. And although I don't really incorporate that when it comes to predictions, that is something to speak on. That is something to, kind of tip your hat to. I know it's the 101. You shouldn't be fucking up anyway. You should always be perfect. That's the first thing you get down. Then you worry about the material and the reaction, but you memorize your material first. And you have that, that ability to remember it when you're in that situation. The lights are bright, the cameras are on, you can rap. So although I tip my hat to him, that is just what you're supposed to do. And Twerk has just been on an incredible run. I think this potentially seals champion of the year. I don't know if Big K has another battle coming up, which means I don't know if his resume pulls and holds on. I think Twerk could steal this in the last month of the year. I have him winning 2-1 convincingly. 2-1 convincingly, New Jersey Twerk. Geechee and Sirius. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? Here's the most interesting part about Geechee and Sirius Jones. Let's talk about Sirius Jones. Sirius Jones, since his return, and I don't know if you guys know, but what he was returning from was actually me murdering him in 2019. Yes, after I 30'd him in Virginia, he took like a 2-3 year break from URL, didn't come back, but since he's been back, he has arguably been undefeated. I know he lost in the tournament versus Rum Nitty, but a lot of people said that was BS and that Sirius had taken that battle clearly. I can't remember all the other battles he's been in, but it has been a conversation that since Sirius Jones has been back, from Mike P binking that ass, that's a pause, he's been undefeated, right? So now you add two things, right? You take Geechee's last time in New York, homecoming, same stage, same place, and you see what happened with him, right? He had a hard time. New York really wasn't on his side, and he kind of got, blindsided by that, right? You add Sirius Jones being there and doing the dance, something like that. And then you add, the fact that Sirius Jones has been on this run. Now, this is interesting for me because battle rap is battle rap. Y'all are all confused. We're all confused. We never know what we're talking about. But everyone seems to think that Geechee is going to run through Sirius. But if you did battle rap math, that doesn't add up, right? Because, well, Geechee's last time in Irving Plaza didn't go that well. It was, I would say it was a loss. Sirius Jones is arguably undefeated. 2 + 2 = how do you do? But no. The crowd, the community tends to think the opposite, and I think the opposite too. Serious Jones, let's be honest. As much as Serious Jones was there versus when Murda Mook battled Geechee, as much as Serious Jones was aiding in the crowd reaction and all that, Serious Jones is two things: not Murda Mook and not from New York. Those two are not going to help him. You know, him being next to Murda Mook is not going to help him. Him being in the Irving Plaza is not going to help him. Geechee is a different monster. Also, Geechee has had a great year as well. I mean, when does he not? I see Geechee possibly thrashing Jones, man. I'm gonna say 2-1 convincingly. I do not like to give 3-0s, but I think Geechee takes this convincingly. I don't know what happened. I was recording and then it absolutely shut off. But yeah, those are the 3 predictions I have so far. Obviously, stay tuned. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be more active on here. I'm literally in the middle of a $150,000 Call of Duty tournament that's lasting a month long. Before that, I did 3 battles in 6 weeks. It's just been a mess, but I'm gonna come back to more consistent uploads. Also, I want to say this. URL needs this, man. URL needs a banger card. They need a banger card, and they need specifically a banger pay-per-view. I feel like, obviously having experience from being on the app for 4 years and then going to YouTube drops and pay-per-views, it's such a big difference as far as the traffic, how many people are talking about you, the fan base growing, the amount of eyes that are there. There's just so much more noise being made from other leagues, and the more leagues rise up and the more active all these leagues are, and other leagues that come out the woodwork and they hosting pay-per-views and they're doing YouTube drops, URL seems smaller and smaller, man. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. You guys had some good battles. You guys had a great, Outside was a dope weekend. I thought Summer Madness was pretty damn good. A lot of people had, something different to say. I personally like Summer Madness. But the more activity goes on and the more people are talking about, when URL drops a battle on an app, bro, like, there's not a lot of people talking. Nobody really talks about it because it's only really to be talked to in that app. It's such a small, separate world from Battle Rap. And I feel like as Battle Rap is expanding with all of these leagues, you guys really need to hit it out of the park. You guys had a shit year. Some good battles, some good cards, but probably your worst year ever. Kick it up, buddy. Hopefully this card is good. I'm excited to see the rest of the announcements, and yeah, stay tuned for more updates when it comes to Homecoming. Yeah, bye.